Why does their name still linger in your thoughts, popping up unexpectedly even after months or years have passed? It's like their memory is a quiet hum in the back of your mind, surfacing without warning when you're least prepared. A fleeting word, a familiar street corner, or an old song crackling through the radio can hit you like a tidal wave, pulling you under despite believing you'd moved on. You might be strolling through your day, tackling work, mending your heart, or flashing a genuine smile, and then, wham, a vivid memory, a sudden pang, a rush of emotion drags you right back to the starting line. But here's the truth, you're not losing your mind, you're not fragile, and you're certainly not broken, you're simply human. That lingering ache, that hollow feeling you can't quite pin down, runs deeper than just longing for someone. It's not about craving their return, fixating on them, or stirring up drama. It's about you. As Carl Jung wisely put it, until you bring the unconscious into the light, it will steer your life, and you'll mistake it for fate. This isn't just about a person, it's about what they stood for, a spark of emotion, a version of yourself that bloomed in their presence, an unmet longing, or a chapter that closed too soon. You're not just recalling them, you're revisiting the person you were when they were part of your world. You're reaching for a piece of yourself that still needs healing. The journey starts here, not in erasing their memory, but in unraveling your own heart. Let me guide you through it. Chapter 1, It's not them, it's what they symbolized. Have you ever wondered why someone you rarely speak to anymore, or maybe haven't seen in ages, still occupies a corner of your mind? Why does their name carry a weight that feels heavier than mere nostalgia, like a sentence left hanging in midair? Here's a powerful truth, you're not yearning for them as a person, you're craving what they embodied. They weren't just someone who crossed your path, they were a symbol of something your heart was desperately seeking. Maybe they represented unconditional acceptance, a rush of love, the warmth of being truly noticed, or even a familiar kind of pain that felt like home. Sometimes, it's not about who they were but what they mirrored back to you, perhaps the wounds from your childhood, the times you felt unseen, or the quiet nights when you questioned your worth. They might have been the first to lock eyes with you and make you feel like you truly existed, like your presence mattered. Or maybe they stirred something raw, a hidden fault line in your soul that cracked open, revealing parts of you long buried. Their arrival in your life wasn't just a moment, it was a key, unlocking doors to your deeper self. That's why their memory clings, not in your daily routine or your phone, but in the quiet frequency of your being. Jung's words ring true here, until you shine a light on the unconscious, it will guide your path, masquerading as destiny. You're not caught up in them, you're caught up in the version of yourself they brought to life, the fleeting sense of worth they gifted you, the hope they ignited, the vibrant you that felt whole in their orbit. But this isn't a tale of romance, it's a call to wake up. Your inner child is whispering, don't chase them, understand what their presence revealed. The real truth? You're not stuck on them, you're stuck on the you that existed in their glow. Until you face that, the cycle will spin on, new faces, new smiles, but the same hollow ache, the same familiar pattern. So shift your question, instead of asking why they left, ask what unhealed wound their presence laid bare. Healing doesn't come from cutting them out of your life, it comes from unlocking the parts of yourself you've kept hidden. It's not about forgetting them, it's about forgiving yourself for craving what they offered and learning to nurture that need within. This is your crossroads, not a moment to move on, but to turn inward. Do that, and you won't just break the cycle, you'll rewrite the entire story. Chapter 2, The Mind Loops What the Soul Hasn't Mended. Let me ask you something raw, have you ever poured everything into moving forward, like it was a full-time gig? You scrubbed their photos from your phone, blocked them across every app, threw yourself into your job, picked up new hobbies, posted glowing stories with your widest grin, and told your friends, I'm done, I'm past it. You might have even convinced yourself that a new date would drown out the voice in your head that still murmured their name. For a while, it seemed to work. But then, on some ordinary evening, you were walking home, and a song, a street, or a fleeting scent, like their old cologne, hits you. Suddenly, you're 10 steps deep in a memory you thought you'd buried for good. Maybe it's a phrase someone tosses out, one they used to say, and just like that, you're pulled back, not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, like your energy has slipped into a time machine. It's as if your heart holds onto a kind of instinctual memory, clinging to the past despite your mind's firm insistence that you've let go. Yet, in those quiet moments, your soul softly whispers, "We're not there yet." You find yourself questioning why this keeps happening, why now, why it feels like it's starting all over again. The truth is raw and unflinching. Your soul hasn't finished its work, your deeper self hasn't mended, and this cycle isn't a curse, it's a signal. Your mind isn't malfunctioning, it's trying to send you a message, urging you to listen. Think of your unconscious mind as a sacred vault, safeguarding not just memories but the deeper meanings behind them, meanings you haven't fully unraveled, lessons you glossed over in your hurry to outrun the hurt. Every unhealed scar, every truth you brushed aside, every feeling you hid behind a forced "I'm okay" still lingers in that vault. And your mind? It will keep replaying that familiar scene, that name, that fleeting moment until you finally hear what it's trying to tell you. As Carl Jung once said, people will go to extraordinary lengths, no matter how irrational, to avoid confronting their own souls. And that's what so many do. They numb the pain, distract themselves, or move on outwardly while their spirit stays stuck. That's why the ghost of that person keeps drifting back. You can't drown out your soul with distractions, heal a wound with a new face, or outpace the parts of yourself you've left behind. Pay attention, that person haunting your dreams, that sudden rush of tears when you're alone, it's not about them anymore. It's about you. Your inner world is gently nudging you, saying, "Don't ignore this. Don't bury it. Heal it." You're not spiraling, you're diving deeper. This cycle isn't here to shatter you, it's here to rebuild you. It's a sacred kind of pain, the kind that surfaces only when your soul is ready to grow. That growth doesn't come from erasing the past, it comes from rediscovering yourself, the you who wept in silence, who gave too much and received too little, who dimmed your own light just to feel loved. You don't need a new romance, you need a reconnection with your own heart. Stop numbing the ache, stop running from it, and start asking the real questions, not "How do I let go?" but "What part of me is still hurting, still left behind?" Healing doesn't start when they fade from your life, it begins when you finally show up for yourself. Your future self isn't waiting for someone else to piece you back together, they're waiting for you, whole, awake, transformed. Until you answer that call, your mind will keep looping the same lesson, with different faces but the same emotions, different masks but the same heartbreak. But here's the beautiful part, the moment you stop dodging the pain and start embracing it, the cycle breaks. That's when healing takes root, when freedom unfolds, and when you truly begin anew. Chapter 3, not a love issue, but a self issue. You can't stop thinking about them, can you? Their memory flickers through your mind in the stillness of late nights, at the break of dawn, or even in the middle of a casual chat with someone else. It's like a song stuck on repeat, and you wonder, am I still in love? Is this a sign I should reach out or try to rekindle things? Let me offer you a perspective that might turn everything you believe upside down. This isn't about love, it's about you. Constantly thinking about someone doesn't always mean you're still pining for them, that they're your destined soulmate, or that there's unfinished business between you. What it really signals is that there's something unresolved within yourself. We don't just form attachments to people, we tether ourselves to the version of who we were when they were in our lives. Maybe it's a younger, softer, more open version of you, one that never got the chance to fully express itself, that's still tied to their story. Perhaps it was the you who finally felt noticed, who dared to hope that this time, love would last. Or maybe it was the you who thought, "I can be myself here, no masks needed," even if that sense of safety was fleeting, even if that love came with strings attached, even if the whole connection was built on shaky ground. That version of you still remembers, still yearns, still carries the ache. But here's where it gets profound. In your efforts to hold on to them, you lost pieces of yourself. You silenced your own voice to keep things peaceful, scaled back your dreams to make them feel at ease, said yes when every fiber of your being screamed no, you let go of your boundaries just to feel accepted, betraying your true self all in the name of love. Now, that pain you feel, that tightness in your chest, is the echo of those sacrifices, the weight of the parts of you that you left behind. That powerful tug you feel in quiet moments, that lingering sense that something vital is missing, it's not about reigniting an old romance. It's about rediscovering the parts of yourself you left behind in their world. Your soul isn't crying out for them, it's yearning for the version of you that got lost along the way. Carl Jung described this sacred journey as individuation, a process of piecing yourself back together, becoming whole again. This isn't about rewriting the past or crafting a new love story. It's about gathering every fragment of yourself you scattered to fit into someone else's life, every truth you buried to feel loved, every boundary you let crumble just to be chosen. It's time to call it all back. The real heartbreak wasn't losing them, it was losing sight of you. Healing doesn't mean reaching out to them, chasing an elusive sense of closure, or holding out for an apology that might never come. Healing is an inward turn, it's meeting yourself in your rawest, most unfiltered form, the you that's been waiting patiently beneath layers of pain, ready to be heard. This isn't about love, it's about self-abandonment, and it's time to stop leaving yourself behind. Love that demanded you dim your light was never love. Validation that forced you to shrink was never genuine. Affection that required your silence was never safe. You don't need to go back to them, you need to dive deeper into you. Not the version that performs or pleads, but the real, whole you who no longer needs to prove your worth. This isn't the end of a love story, it's the start of your homecoming to yourself. Chapter 4, Stop Fleeing, Start Hearing. Let me share something we weren't taught growing up. Healing doesn't come from forgetting, from pretending you're fine, or from plastering a smile over your pain. Blocking their number or shoving memories into the dark corners of your mind, hoping they'll fade, isn't healing, it's hiding. True healing isn't about running from the ache, it's about stepping into it with bravery, honesty, and full presence. Every time their memory surfaces, every time your heart clenches at the sound of their name, every time a song, a scent, or a familiar place pulls you back, that's not a punishment. It's not weakness or madness, it's a message. It's your soul's gentle whisper pointing to the exact moments where your voice was stifled, where you stopped prioritizing yourself, where your joy, your radiance, your strength was buried to make someone else feel at ease. Yet, what do we often do? We criticize ourselves, judge our progress, and think, I should be past this by now. What's wrong with me? But what if, instead of pushing those thoughts away, you leaned in and listened? What if you stopped running and started asking the deeper questions? What still feels unfinished in me that their presence stirred? What part of myself did I sacrifice to feel loved? What truth did I swallow to gain acceptance? What boundary did I let go of to feel needed? What did I lose in my effort to hold on to them? Here's the reality, your mind doesn't keep circling back to what's healed, it echoes what's still unresolved. Those echoes aren't here to haunt you, they're here to guide you. They're not shackles, they're signposts, directing you to the parts of yourself still waiting to be seen, heard, and healed. Every thought, every memory, every wave of emotion is your inner world reminding you that you matter, urging you not to abandon yourself again. This isn't about returning to them, it's about returning to you, to the you that got left behind, to the soul that dimmed its light to linger in someone else's shadow, to the heart that was never meant to be silenced. This isn't obsession or insanity, it's a sacred wake-up call, and you've finally stopped ignoring it. Your soul is knocking on a door you've kept locked, and now you face a choice. Keep running from one memory to the next, one person to another, one distraction to the next, or pause, sit with the pain, and truly listen. The healing you seek isn't in erasing them, it's in rediscovering yourself, not the polished or people-pleasing version, but the raw, real, vibrant you who deserves to be seen by you first. This is your moment. Stop fleeing, start hearing, and begin the journey to come home to yourself. Chapter 5, Archetypes and Soul Agreements. Carl Jung taught that we don't just fall for people, we're drawn to the symbols they embody, the archetypes they awaken in our unconscious. That person you can't seem to shake from your thoughts? It might not be about them as an individual, but about the deeper role they played in your soul story. Perhaps they stepped into your life as the savior, lifting you from the weight of your solitude. Maybe they were the nurturer, offering the gentle warmth you craved but never knew as a child. Or perhaps they embodied the rebel, stirring the wild, untamed spirit within you that had been dormant for years. They could have been your refuge, a calm harbor in the storm of a chaotic world, or even the shadow, mirroring the parts of yourself you've pushed away, ignored, or feared. These aren't just fleeting roles, they're archetypes, universal patterns woven into the fabric of human consciousness. They shape how we connect, what we long for, how we ache, and ultimately, how we mend. Sometimes, what you're truly tethered to isn't the person but the story they sparked within you. The love wasn't just romantic, it was mythic, part of a soul agreement not meant to last forever but to reveal something you'd have missed without them. They might have arrived to remind you of your inherent worth, to reignite a fire you'd let fade, to burst the dust from your spirit. Sometimes, they were there to crack your heart open just enough for light to seep through. They were a chapter, not your entire story. Now that you've lived it, don't just turn the page, understand its meaning. The archetype they carried may no longer serve you, but the transformation they ignited? That was the true purpose all along. Chapter 6, From Repetition to Insight. So many rush to leave the past behind, they delete the contact, wipe away the photos, block every trace on every app, burn the letters, discard the gifts, erase every remnant. But in their hurry to scrub the past clean, they overlook the need to comprehend it. They skip the vital question, what part of me was fighting to survive through this person? Sometimes, what felt like love was less about connection and more about survival, a lifeline for a version of you sinking in loneliness, abandonment, or self-doubt. That person may have felt like home, but only because you were adrift within yourself. Here's a hard truth most shy away from: you can't heal what you refuse to confront, and you can't let go of what you don't understand. You can block a person, but the pattern will persist until you do the inner work. So when those thoughts creep back, when memories loop like a song stuck in your head, don't judge yourself. It's not a step backward or a sign of weakness, it's repetition with purpose. Your soul is nudging you to revisit, not to stay stuck, but to uncover something. There was a moment, a memory that shifted you, something you weren't ready to face back then but are strong enough to confront now. This isn't just about releasing the past, it's about rising above it, turning pain into strength, cycles into wisdom, wounds into awakening. Repetition isn't a trap, it's a gateway to revelation. Your healing begins when you stop fleeing and start remembering who you truly are. Chapter 7, Closure Comes from Within. You keep telling yourself you need answers, a final conversation, a sincere apology, some tidy resolution to the chaos they left behind. But here's a truth that could set you free: closure doesn't come from them, and it never will. It doesn't arrive in a message, sit across from you at a coffee shop, or whisper "I'm sorry." True closure rises from within, born from your own self-awareness, not someone else's words. The questions that matter aren't "why did they leave?" or "why did they hurt me?" or "why did it end?" The real questions are, why did I hold on so tightly? Why did their absence feel like I was suffocating? What part of me believed I had to shrink, plead, or break just to be loved? When you start answering those, you stop waiting for them to fix the pain. You realize it was never them you were waiting for, it was you. The you who stopped choosing yourself, who believed love had to hurt, who made someone else your lifeline while forgetting you could breathe on your own. That's the closure no one can take away, not even them. When you understand why you stayed, why you broke, why you gave so much, you no longer need their apology, their approval, or even their presence. You just need to return to yourself. That's the most powerful ending of all, not an end, but the beginning of you. Chapter 8, Turning Memory into Wisdom. This was never about erasing the past, pretending it didn't sting, or forcing yourself to just move on. The goal wasn't to forget, it was to transform, to take the pain, the loss, the heartbreak, and forge something powerful from it. Every scar holds a seed, a lesson, a treasure hidden in the soil of your struggles. Carl Jung didn't shy away from pain, he honored it. He knew pain wasn't the enemy, denial was, suppression was, avoidance was. What you refuse to feel only tightens its grip. But the moment you sit with your pain without judgment, the moment you stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as evolving, something shifts. You begin to see that heartbreak split you open to let more light in, that loss stripped away illusions to reveal the truth, that loneliness wasn't a punishment but a homecoming to yourself. This isn't just healing, it's alchemy. You're not here to erase the story but to redefine its meaning, to turn memory into wisdom, to walk away not bitter or shattered but brighter, stronger, wiser, whole. You weren't destroyed, you were shaped. Chapter 9, the final lesson, they came to awaken you. That person didn't enter your life to stay, they weren't your final destination. They were your awakening. They arrived like a storm, beautiful, chaotic, impossible to ignore, but they weren't here to complete you. They were here to reflect you, to show you the parts of yourself you'd forgotten or buried. They were the alarm your soul needed, shaking you out of autopilot. They weren't your forever, they were your reminder, showing you your capacity to feel deeply, to ache, to hope, to love with a fierceness you didn't know you possessed. They marked a turning point, a sacred disruption in your life's rhythm. The journey was never about loving them forever, it was about learning to love yourself fully, even the messy, forgotten, hidden parts. Now, you face the final test, not to release them in anger or erase them in resentment, but to remember without pain, to let go without bitterness, to love without need. That's what true healing is, not numbness, not detachment, but peace. That's individuation, where your soul becomes whole again, not because someone else pieced it together, but because you did. That's the dawn of freedom. You don't need them to return, and you don't need the past to make sense. You just need to awaken to who you truly are, who you were always meant to be. So if their memory still lingers, if their name still echoes in the silence, don't fight it, face it. Not to pull them back, but to bring yourself back. Your soul isn't longing for them, it's longing for you, the you that was lost in loving them, the you that forgot your own worth. Your soul doesn't want them, it wants you, whole, awake, and finally free. Let this be the moment you stop seeking answers in others and start becoming the closure you've always needed. If this stirs something deep within, don't let it slip away. Hold on to it, reflect on it, reclaim your story. Healing isn't about forgetting, it's about remembering who you are, and maybe, just maybe, that's who you've been searching for all along.